everybody. Today is Saturday, August 23rd, 2025. Welcome to another DMVCBN Comic Book Club. Shout out to all returning viewers and subscribers, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today we're here to discuss comics, old and new, print and digital. We'll take turns sharing our recommendations, and we'll try to avoid spoilers unless we announce otherwise. Alright, so let's start with the introductions. I'm your host, Freddy, aka the DMV Comic Book Nerd. I am 36 years old, I'm from Washington, D.C., and I can't wait to talk comics with everyone. I've got a great panel assembled today. I'm so excited to introduce them to you guys. Some of them you already know. Some of them are first time on this channel here. And I feel like I've assembled the Avengers. This is so exciting. So let's start with Polly. All right. Are you there, Polly?
Hi. Yep. Hi, everyone. And thanks for tuning in. And thanks to everyone who assembled. So, yeah, for those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Polly. I am from Serbia. Also 36 years old, by the way. I forgot to mention it the last time.
That's all right.
Yeah, and pretty much all I do is talk comics. Read comics and talk about them.
Yes, she's one of the comic queens of the internet, for sure. So,
royalty.
And you brought our your familiar Lockheed. We're so happy to see Lockheed back with us. Very cool. Yeah, Polly was one of the longest members of the club. She joined when we did the X-Men 97 podcast from last year. So let's also bring in another guest from when we did those X-Men 97 reviews. Let's bring in Travelle.
Hello. Hi, I'm Travelle, the big boy nerd. I am actually not 36. I'll be 38 in November, so I'm 37 right now. I am an essayist, host, a blog writer, and I collect comic books for a living. I love it. I also DJ, and I'm a personal trainer. So I'm kind of all over the place, but my true love is actually, I think, comic books. It keeps me a big boy nerd. So it's nice to meet you all and see you all again.
Awesome. Yes, glad to have you back, man.
Yeah.
And we love your Blue Lantern Hope shirt. We were talking a little bit about that when you first hopped on. But yeah.
Like, there we go. Yeah, Hope, bro.
Represent, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And next, let's bring in Claude.
Hello. I'm Claude, aka Curly Insane Guy. I am 33 years old, based in Washington State. Huge comic book nerd, and then my other thing is tabletop RPGs. So I run some actual plays, and do a lot of talking about that as well. And yeah, just excited to be back in the club. I'm slowly trying to catch up to a number of appearances here to pass up both Polly and Travelle, so we'll see if I get there.
Well, you joined us after we did the X-Men stuff, but once we got started with the comic book stuff. But in terms of total number of appearances, you might be giving them a run for their money. I don't know. We'll see. All right, and we've got, like I said before, we have a first-time guest of the DMVCBN Comic Book Club. I'm so excited to introduce from the House of X podcast, and just a very cool person from social media as well. We'd like to welcome Regina to the club. How are you doing today, Regina?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here, so thank you for inviting me. As he said, I'm from the House of X podcast. Also have a To Me, My X-Men podcast, which runs when the X-Men 97 show is running. I am one of the volunteers for the Uncanny Experience. I run the mutant market there, so if you don't know what that is, definitely check us out. We are an X-Men only con. We've been running for 2 years, so 2026 will be our 3rd year. We've had a lot of really awesome people, the voices of X-Men 97, including Lenora Zan. We've had X-Men writers like Ashley Allen and Ben Percy. We've had Chris Claremont and Gail Simone joining us. So it's really, really fun. I look forward to it every year now that it's been like going on our 3rd year. And I am actually, I think, the oldest person here.
Well, I won't ask your age unless you want to share. But you
No,
look
it's fine.
very young and beautiful.
I'm actually in my mid 40s, and I am the second generation of comic book nerds. And now I've got a third generation going, and then my grandbaby is up and coming. He loves Spider-Man and Hulk, so
Nice.
I'm
I
just
love
shuffling
that.
all along.
Good job.
Yeah, I love that you got whole generations of comic book fans in your household. That's amazing.
Agreed.
And also, thank you for shouting out the Uncanny Experience. Like, unfortunately, I wasn't able to go, but I was living vicariously on social media. Like, it looks so cool. Like you said, X-Men fans just like living their best lives, and you get the experience of like kind of being in Xavier Mansion, so to speak, you know, in the real life version that you guys created.
Without the threats.
Without the threats. So
Well,
well, don't walk outside of the streets, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the threats are still there.
The threats are
The
definitely
threats
still
are
there.
still there. Yeah, man.
But yeah, like this year you guys had you know, some of my favorite stuff, X-Men Evolution. You had them representing. You had the director Stephen E. Gordon, and then two of the voice actors. And I mean, I love X-Men 92 and 97 as well, but you know,
I mean, Evolution
just
is
excited to
just-
see them.
Just
Yeah. And
Can
that
I-
was actually Megan Black and the other person is escaping me.
Maggie Blue O'Hara.
Megan Blue O'Hara. That was her first con ever. So she'd never been to a con before. And so we were so happy to have her.
That's so
and,
cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
so, yeah. Steve Gordon is amazing. Such a sweet person.
Can I ask, next year, are you guys going to have some of the Wolverine and the X-Men creators, like Chris Yost, Craig Kyle? Can I get an exclusive here?
We are in
Nice.
talks. We are in talks, but because X-Men 97 is coming back around in 2026, we're probably going to focus on that first.
Okay, that makes
In
sense.
subsequent year, yeah. So
Awesome.
we'll see.
No, I love that you guys are, you know, growing and just making this special experience for X-Men fans. Like, maybe next year, I got fingers crossed. Like, honestly, I'm a little scared to travel right now, but you know, maybe things will change.
Yeah, I am too, to be honest. But I would make the pilgrimage down to see you. Yeah, I'm in New York, so I would definitely come down.
You know, I think domestic travel still, because I am not a traveler. I hate flying. I hate going anywhere. So I was like, for me to actually go every year is like a big deal. I was so nervous, but you know, it was smooth sailing. I think domestic travel, you're good.
That's great. That's great.
Nice.
Well, I do want to take a moment to give a quick disclaimer. This podcast is not really scripted. We're going to just share our opinions. They might get political. We might agree. We might disagree. But we're going to try and be respectful with each other. And we ask that people who are listening and commenting to also please be respectful. Yeah, this is about, you know, bringing people together over comics and having a good time. Will we get political? Probably. But comic books have always been political, you know, going back to Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster and Jack Kirby.
Thank you.
So,
That's right.
so we're going to be our, you know, honest selves, and we're just going to have fun sharing our thoughts and opinions. All right. So let's get right into things. It is August. I do have to say, you know, like a lot has happened since the last time we met. Like it's crazy. Like going back to the beginning of this year, I did know this was going to be a crazy year. So I was like, well, let me just try to do this monthly. And so, you know, and I found that doing this monthly, I feel like this is some kind of like, this is my version of a diary of like, you know, what is going on in these times. So it's like, I just do want to mention that since the last time I saw you guys, now I'm living in a military occupied, not even a state, territory. I live in DC, and, you know, Trump has sent in the National Guard, the FBI, and it's like, I don't want to, you know, make this the whole topic of conversation. I just have to mention it because, you know, this is like, we're here, and this is, for me, this is something that, you know, makes me feel joy, and I want to, and one of the things that some of the organizers in Free DC are saying, they're like, you know, we are going to maintain our joy in the midst of all of this. So, So it's about finding that balance between, fighting the power and enjoying our comic books.
I'm sorry, my friend. That's very, very difficult. I have a question to ask you though.
Sure.
In your current experience, what do you think is the best like X-Men comic book that actually really would be able to soothe you through this, or you'd be able to like identify with at this time? And also, Regina, this goes to you as well. Like, I want to know what you two think, because I want to pick something up and read that I haven't read in a while that'll help me through these times.
Oh, that's a cool question. I think I'd probably just say that in general, that's one of the main reasons I like superhero comic books, because they, inspire me to, figure out what is a heroic thing, what is the right thing to do, what is heroism, how can I emulate that in my life, and there's so many great comics. I guess I'll just single one out. I was reading the new Exceptional X-Men the other day, and I really do like how Eve Ewing has put the focus on, Kitty is training kids, and she's like she's overcoming the traumas of her past. She's trying to make peace with her history, and the kids, they are so vibrant, and they're trying to be their best selves in the midst of everything that's going on in their lives. So I think that's a good one.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Regina, did you have one?
As Freddy knows, I actually stepped away from our podcast for like over 6 months because everything just got so real, especially after Krakoa. And at first I had a lot of problems with Krakoa, and I didn't always let those problems go, but there was such joy in seeing this group of people that have been marginalized their entire existence, finding something for themselves, claiming it for themselves, creating something new for themselves, and then the way it was so cruelly jerked away. And then the election happened, and then Krakoa also went away right before that. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this right now. So I just literally walked away.
I understand.
But I came back, and it is hard, I think, reading some of the Fall of the Ashes books. But Exceptional is the exception. I love Eve Ewing. I love what she's done with the kids, especially Bronze. The character Bronze reminds me so much of my own daughter. And, my own daughter's like a theater nerd and like all the things that kind of Bronze is. And trying to have like this kind of soft era Black girl life while also being just really in tune with what's going on around her and still having to fight.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of Black women, especially, they're always looked to be hard and strong. And she's always asking me, why can't I just be soft? Like, why do I have to be strong? And I'm like, baby, you don't have to be. So we've been reading that book together. And I think it's really kind of helped her because she's also in high school. So she's kind of going through some of the same things that she sees these kids going through. So Exceptional is definitely the exception. Also Psylocke. The Psylocke series just ended. It was so good. I loved it so much.
Really?
I've been enjoying it too. I'm not caught up with it, but I've read about the first arc. I think it was really good. I'm definitely going to keep going with that.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely Psylocke. Magik's also like the solo books are really, I think, where it's at more so than the other Fall of the Ashes books. And now we're kind of going into this new era of going back to the 90s basically. So we'll see kind of how that pans out. But that's how it's been for me. I actually started reading other books. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I was like, I got to get away from the X-Men just for a short time. But now I'm back and we're reading more regularly and getting caught up. So
awesome.
Thank you for that. Thank you for both for sharing that. Thank you.
Yeah. And I can't wait to hear your guys' favorite picks as well. Like, let's get right into it. I'd like to start with Polly. Like, what is one of the favorite books that you've read since last month?
Okay, before we begin, let me just point out something because, like, I know the situation that you were just talking about, like, been there, done that.
Right.
But whatever you do, because I'm from Russia originally, so yeah,
Right.
whatever you do, avoid reading things like Civil War and Daredevil. Those are just gonna make you more depressed.
True.
Definitely.
That is so funny. Guess what? I was at the
Read
I was-
Civil War and Daredevil.
I was at my comic book store the other day, this week, and I saw that they had a reprint of Civil War on the stands, and I was like, wow, that takes me back. I was like,
Yes.
what year is it? Like, I had to like really kind of like,
Yeah,
because like I mean, I actually really enjoyed Civil War,
I did too.
but
Yeah,
I get what you're saying though. Yeah.
It's
exhausting.
In the current environment, it's gonna be
Right.
a little bit exhausting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Other than that, though, my pick for this month is definitely Magik by Ashley Allen. Because yeah, I know, unexpected a little bit.
Wow.
But it's one of the solo runs that we just, again, Regina just mentioned. And I love the fact that we've been following his story pretty much throughout her whole life, through the Limbo and then Xavier's School and then Krakoa and all of that. And we're used to knowing her as like either a kid or like a student, of course, and one of Scott's lieutenants during Revolution era. But really, this run does something new with her, and I like that. It does give her an opportunity to deal with all of her issues, with everything she's been through, to like redefine herself. And one of my favorite parts is that Danny Moonstar shows up, and they team up for a bit, and Danny's one of my favorite characters. So yeah, it's a really good run, and I think it's a little bit horror, but at the same time it has a little some of the young adult vibes, and in general it's just really, really good. A fun one.
Awesome. So let's give a hands up if you read any of this title. I've read some of it, but just like with Psylocke, I'm still catching up.
Yeah, that's
So
how it is for
Claude-
me too. I've read just the first two of it, and it didn't grab me right away. But I could see they were putting the building blocks in place, so I'm glad to hear that that's paid off, and I now want to revisit it.
It's really much better if you wait for it to come
Mhm.
out fully and read it, because
Nice.
I started reading it when there was like 5 issues or something like that.
Sweet.
And when you just read through the whole arc, it just works better.
Yeah, I bet a lot of it is on Marvel Unlimited right now.
I
Oh,
imagine
nice.
so.
I'm gonna check it out. Thank you so much. I actually, if I'm to quickly tell a quick story about Magik, and I gotta also mention Colossus, her older brother.
Yeah.
My older brother, rest his soul, he passed away closer to almost 20 years ago, but he's the one that got me into comic books. And for a very long time, my older brother's favorite character, well, when I was a kid, he always told me his favorite character was Colossus. And I really didn't understand exactly why Colossus meant so much to him, but as I've gotten older and after he passed away, and after I stayed connected to comic books and stayed reading comic books, and I still, whenever I see Colossus, I see my older brother. But, as time has gone on, I was able to kind of understand that Colossus was likely his favorite character because he was an older brother as well. So I think he identified with that character a great deal about what it meant to be an older brother, what it meant to be in this position to have this responsibility to lead as an older sibling. And every time I see Colossus, I have Colossus stuff around my apartment and everything for my older brother. So to hear that Magik story is really, really taken off in this way, it gives me an opportunity to identify with her in a new way, especially at this part of my life. So I definitely appreciate everyone bringing this story up so I can actually take the time out and read this and hopefully find myself and find new parts of my older brother that I haven't seen before. So thank you. I just wanted to say thank you to all for mentioning this.
Well, thank you for sharing, Travelle. Our condolences, of course, and
Thank you.
I do want to just mention real quick, there was a great story with Colossus and Magik in the recent Hellfire Vigil one shot.
Okay.
So check that out if you get a
Thank you.
chance.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on Magik?
Oh, before I let you go, sorry, one quick thing. I just
Sure.
want to let you know because I'm also a writer. I actually wrote a story regarding Colossus and my brother's relationship with me. So if ever anyone wants to check it out, it's on my Substack. So I wrote it, and it's about Colossus and my relationship with my
I have
brother
read
in
it.
video games. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And I
So
do
if-
recommend it.
Yeah.
Awesome,
So if
yeah.
anyone wants to read it, thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, shoot me a link and I'll put it in the episode description.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So I think next actually you're next, Travelle. Would you like to pick a book to recommend?
Yeah. Actually, really quickly, I think the book that actually has been resonating with me the most right now is actually, believe it or not, been Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man has meant a lot to me in a lot of different ways. Well, for one, because as a kid, I really, really related to Spider-Man's experience, and I sort of kind of like believed my like soul to be Spider-Man. So, knowing now that he's in this different position in his life, that he's like a father and he's trying to like balance what it's like to have this like other part of himself, this other part of his identity that he's trying to make sense of and communicate with his family. It's like really, really, really enlightening, but also it's really, really like inspiring because I realized like since becoming a father, like some of the most important things I can do is actually create a new sort of like through way around how I communicate with my family. I have to change the way I communicate with my family. I have to change the ways in which I actually like also not only just communicate with them, but how and what ways I show up as a family member, either it be a father, a husband. So having this be something that like, you know, from the beginning, like Peter Parker talking about like, I feel like there's something about me that's just been missing. But, you know, as time goes on, he discovers that he was supposed to be Spider-Man. There's something about that actually really resonates with me at this part of my life because I'm sort of in a career change part of my life, and there's been things that have changed in my life that actually made me reevaluate who I want to be and how I want to show up in the world and what I'm modeling to my family, what I'm modeling to my daughter, especially, you know. So I've always, you know, I when I was a kid, I used to read, always read Spider-Man stuff, but I remember reading the What If when Mayday Parker shows up. And I'm thinking when I was a kid, like I want to have a daughter one day, and just so happens that I now have a daughter, and so this is this sort of like synchronistic relationship with time around how Spider-Man's always been there at a part of my life for me to help me grow and graduate to a new level of my life. You know, like we were talking about Civil War before, and Civil War in which he actually kind of like, one of the biggest parts of that whole story was that he like he reveals his identity. That's a huge part of that whole story. And at that part of my life, I was like about to get out of high school, and I was trying to understand who I was going to be to the world. So he's always been there at really crucial parts of my life. So I'm very grateful for this story right now. I'm very grateful for where it's at. I'm very grateful for like the ways in which his relationship with Mary Jane is being constructed. They like each other. You know, he's in a family that actually cares about him, and he cares about their well-being. And I think that it's really well crafted, and I'm really, really proud of it. So I think that right now, that is one of the main ones. That, and if I'm to quickly say, another book is Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific's book has been a big deal to me right now too.
I agree, but we're going to stick for one at a time right now.
Sorry, yeah.
But yeah, we will get.
One at a
I will
time.
definitely have some more to say about Mr. Terrific.
Cool.
But yeah, thank you for sharing that about Ultimate Spider-Man. How far along are you? Are you up to date with it? Or are you like on a certain issue?
I think I am up to date because the most recent one hasn't come out for August yet. I don't think. I think this week is coming out for August. I think. I might have missed it, but I know I'm up to date, and I haven't read the most recent issue, but I know I'm up to date.
All right, and who else is also reading Ultimate Spider-Man? I'm reading it. I'm a little behind. I think for all the Ultimate books, I'm like on Marvel Unlimited right now. So Claude is also with me there. Regina, have you been interested in that at all?
I really have some problems with some of the Ultimate Universe stuff. I think Spider-Man actually, and I've only read a couple of issues just kind of randomly. Spider-Man's one of the better ones. Black Panther is one of the better ones, but some of it I'm just like, I just can't.
Yeah, I think a lot of us old school fans are really having a hard time with the Ultimate X-Men in particular. I think Polly and I are also of that opinion. I mean,
but Ultimate Wolverine kind of like plays around
substitutes
with
for
the
what
X-Men
the
characters
people.
that we
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Although I will say I am open to giving Ultimate X-Men another chance. Like it's on my read list. Like I'm going
I'm
I'm going to
early
look
into
at it.
but I dig it. I think it's pretty cool. But it does definitely feel like it shouldn't have been part of the new Ultimate Universe. Like that,
Right.
it's its own perfect standalone thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's great.
Yeah.
And,
but
and it's a
really
huge
doesn't
hit
fit
with like a
in
lot
super
of people
well.
who love manga and other such things.
I see
Really?
why. It's very well made. It looks great. The
Yeah,
story's
like,
good.
no
It just
shade to
doesn't-
Peach
It feels like
Momoko.
it doesn't fit into the puzzle of the
Yeah.
other one. I think
Mm.
that's what people are running
I'm
into.
kind of every time that I pick up and read one of the issues, I just find the dialogue so weird.
Oh wow.
For
It
Ultimate
just don't
X-Men?
work for me. It's just
Huh.
don't work.
Wow.
To,
Yeah.
to go off on Ultimate Spider-Man a little bit, I also really identify with Peter in this one, and I
Yeah.
think it was definitely written for a lot of this age demographic that's like going through big life changes, or maybe they're like
Mhm.
dissatisfied with where they're at. Like it's not like
Right.
they don't like their current life or anything, but they felt
Right.
like they like missed out on a thing, or like, oh, I
Right.
could have been more. And there's a lot of that like
Mhm.
just dissatisfaction in the world. So I think it was smart to reflect that on Peter. And like you said, he's like very well supported by Mary Jane. There's a lot of parts where like I think other writers might have been like, oh, here's a good place to like throw in some
Yeah.
conflict and make it more
Right.
difficult, where it
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily have to be. Like everyone feels very real in that comic, and it's like, yeah, they'll have problems with what they do, and they're like, hey, we're definitely going to talk about this later, but they're
Mhm.
supporting each other because
Right.
that's what you do as like uh, partners. That's like how
Right.
you support one another. And yeah, I think it nails it on that. I'll say another great one for dads, since I'll go off on a tangent on that if I get going. But Philip Kennedy Johnson's Superman
Yeah, that's a good run.
is
Really?
really good for.
But you're up next, so save that thought.
I'll save it. That's not what I'm going to talk about. But Philip Kennedy
Yeah,
Johnson's Superman, read it.
but while we're on the topic of Ultimate Spider-Man, I did just want to say, first of all, like, thank you guys for sharing your points of view on it, because, like, I can see how, like, like, since you guys are both fathers, like, it definitely, something you can relate to. Like, I gotta say, for me, I'm not a father, and, like, the first run of Ultimate Spider-Man from the 2000s, that was very foundational for me as a comic book reader. Like, I was a teenager at the time, and it was one of my first long runs of Spider-Man, and so, like, I have an attachment for that. And this one is just so different and not even related to that like I'm not really, like, I don't hate it. I'm not feeling it as much as I did that run. But I am reading it. I do think it's interesting. I guess maybe I just don't relate to it as much. But so for me, I'm just like, my angle is like, what makes this Spider-Man story, need to be told versus, like, any other Spider-Man story. So, like, I do think that aspect of fatherhood and a stable marriage is, like, probably one of the biggest draws about it. I guess one of my reservations is just that, like, I don't really know where it's going with all the remixing of, character origins and plot twists and stuff like that. But maybe he has a long plan. It's Hickman. We'll see.
That's what Ultimate is for.
Yeah. But Hickman doesn't
Fully
like to
done
finish
it.
things, so I'm watching him. I always
Yeah.
have my eye on him. I'm like, you better finish this story.
I feel like he's like halfway out the door already.
Yeah. But we shall see. Yeah, I think we're coming up on the Ultimate Endgame soon, so I don't know too much about that, but maybe it's going to come to an end, or maybe it'll just be like everything else in comic books, which is an ongoing thing. We shall see. All right, but Claude, I think it's your turn to share a book that's your favorite that you've read recently.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been reading. This is one of the longest books that I've been picking up, like, individual issues for, and that is The Power Fantasy.
Yeah.
Absolutely, just incredible work in that book. Still, it
is.
keeps getting better, and it's being collected into its second volume now, which will go up to issue 11, I believe, and that's the one I just read. It is amazing. Another great, like, cliffhanger ending. It's interesting that it's paced so well, and that's what I'm wanted to talk about, but also Kieran Gillen includes like essays in the back of his books
Oh,
about
nice.
his writing process and everything, and this
Wow.
one was all about pacing. So
Wow.
it's really great. Yeah, I recommend getting it. I assume
you.
all of his essays will be included in the collected edition, but he
Okay.
just puts so much in the back matter that's like
Wow.
really interesting insights, and he's also like a game designer because one of his comics is a TTRPG, so he's like
Whoa.
hitting all the right notes for me. And
Nice.
then yeah, just getting a look at the process and how he handles relationship dynamics.
Wow.
This issue, it's as much as I love power fantasy, it's sometimes hard to talk about because it is just chock full of twists and surprises that I can't say what happened, except that what
Yeah.
happened is really cool.
Yeah.
And intense.
It's
but
it's
yeah.
from what I've read, it's been it's exhausting because it just feels it's just there's so many like philosophical and existential questions that are being asked.
Yeah, it's a
You know,
big like
it's
ethics
yeah,
argument
it's
between
Yeah, it's
people.
dense. Like
it's
I think
hard.
in one of the back matter he talks about, he says oh, what did he say? He said something about how this is the best this is the most comic book on the stands because it's philosophical, because it goes back to the tradition of like all the original Stan Lee, you know, Jack
Right.
Kirby, all that stuff was very philosophical.
Mhm.
And like the Silver Surfer stories, all that stuff. But he actually said that because a few issues back he said it was like the least comic booky book on the stands because it's not about like fighting and punching. It's actually about not fighting and how much, like how when people have this insane amount of power, they actually have to be
Yeah,
restrained. They have to have
can't do
restraint.
Yeah.
anything like
Right.
because anything they do can change the world. That they like have to be very picky on when to actually exercise their power, and then their checks and balances for each other. And that's a big part of this issue too. It's like what happens when a check and balance kind of gets eliminated potentially, or like
Mhm.
trying to
You
eliminate it.
said
Like
that
what that happens.
the first collected issue is out, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
the
the
first
first
collection is
one-
out. I actually have it over there, and then
Okay.
and
Gotta get it.
Oh,
Volume 2 comes out next week, September 3rd. So I'm looking forward to getting that.
And I think
Catching
they're
up
going
with
to take a
you.
little break, like a month or two break, to let people catch
Oh,
up to the
no.
collected volumes before they put out individual ones. So,
Yeah, it's definitely a great book, and like I said, Travelle, it's definitely a little dense. Like I usually have to like get in the right mindset to read it. It's not
Yes.
like one of the books I can just like read in like
Right.
10 minutes. You know, I
Really?
actually have to sit down and like
oh
have
yeah,
a
I at
clear
the end
head.
To me, it was
like, you sit
easy.
down
Like
and
it
you,
was
like,
one of
brace
the easiest
yourself.
books to read.
Right. It takes me like at least like 30 minutes to get through the book. Like I have to like because I'll go back and read it. I'm like, wait a minute, okay. So and then like yeah, because it makes you like actually think about you turn over so many different like possibilities around how to think about just the human condition. I think that's probably the best. I don't want to spoil too much, but
I think
it was
that
very
that
hard.
usually comes after I read the issue. So, but this book, like really, I've only read like 2 or 3
Yeah, me too.
issues, but it was like really easy. It was really very well. Of course, it's well written. Of course, we know the writer, we know the creator, but it was just kind of felt right.
That's
Okay.
good. That's a good
That's
thing, I
awesome.
think.
That's awesome.
All right.
It's a very good thing.
All right, Regina, I think you're up next. Would you like to recommend a book to our audience?
Sure, I'm gonna go back with Psylocke. My sister and I, she's also a comic book nerd. We have a
Nice.
big schism about how we feel about canon taking over for Betsy as Psylocke. And since that just ended with issue 10, I got to read the entire thing pretty much not in one sitting, but within a very short period of time. And I really love what Alyssa Wong did with her character because it's very familiar, but you're also reminded this is not Betsy. Like the entire thing is just this is not Betsy. This is Canon taking over her agency and kind of doing her own thing.
Wow.
She has this lover who's also kind of trying to redeem himself from his past, but not really. And they're kind of these morally gray characters, and Canon is really just trying to figure out how does she become the person that she really wants to be in light of all the things that she has previously done, and how does her past still haunt her. And she's such an interesting character to do this with because a lot of X-Men start at a pretty young age. You know, Cyclops has pretty much always been an X-Man his entire life. So there's only so much backstory you can do with Cyclops or Jean Grey or Iceman, you know, all these characters. But Psylocke was an adult woman when her switch with Betsy happened. So she has this entire backstory that people have just very vaguely touched on. So this kind of enriched what we do know about her and added to it, and also added what is her internal conflict now. So I loved the whole thing. It was really fun. And even though there is some things that are kind of heavy in the book, it still feels like an escape. So when you're looking outside like, crap, this stuff is happening out here, you're still able to lose yourself in the book and the story and kind of see how things are going for her.
Yeah, like that's a great choice. Like, thank you for sharing your take on that book. 'Cause, like, I'm also enjoying it, and I definitely want to catch up on that and Magik. So you mentioned a rift between you and your sister about what is the rift? Or, like, which side are you on? I'm just curious.
So she is upset that Betsy is now not Psylocke, and that she's kind of been shelved a little bit. Like, she's just not a big player in the books right now. And instead we have Canon, and Canon is kind of doing her thing and taking her place. And there's actually a moment in issue, I don't remember if it's 9 or 10, where she claims herself like fully and completely as an X-Man. Like, that's who she wants to be, and that's who she wants to align herself with. And my sister's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I love that. I think we're aligned on that because I love that Canon is getting to have her side of the story told and like to be her own character again. Like, because how many decades was she trapped? You know, and someone and a white woman colonized her body. Like that's what happened. And like, I know it wasn't really thought of that way when it happened, but now that we have hindsight, you know, I think I like that writers have tried to kind of rectify the situation. And like I said, yeah, Betsy has been a little sidelined, especially in this From the Ashes era. Like she had a big thing when she was doing the Captain Britain stuff in the Krakoa era, but
yeah, in the Krakoa era.
But I don't know where she is now. I mean, she was in X-Force, but that got canceled. So yeah.
Is it Grey Crow that's in the comic with her?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not a spoiler to say because they were together.
I think it was, yeah, because it was in the solicits. Cool, that's good.
And I think
I need to read more of him.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I like most about Psylocke's book is that even though we've had this fall of Krakoa, she's still sort of in that mentality. And it feels like a natural evolution of her character to still kind of be in that place. And they didn't forget about the relationship that she started with Grey Crow in Hellions, because I think a lot of things that we had from Krakoa was either sidelined or dropped with the new era. And this is something that they've kept.
Yeah.
And I really like it because I won't go into it, but there's this moment when he's talking to one of her sidekicks in the book, and he's doing something that you're like, now, Grey Crow, I thought you were trying to get away from this.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I agree. Like, it's so great they picked up on that.
Certainly. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you reading it, Polly?
Yeah.
Just curious. Yeah, cool.
Also, one of my favorite books. Like I said, the solo books are pretty good, except like for 2 that I'm not so happy about. But
ooh, which ones? You can't just leave us hanging.
Okay, so I'm not happy about Storm's solo book, and I'm not happy about Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really feeling Phoenix. I am reading Storm. I love the Storm book, but Storm I do have a few criticisms.
Moments, but yeah, it doesn't have a story really.
It's very all over the place story-wise, but I'm right now it's my turn, so I'm hesitant to, like, should I pick Storm to talk about, or should I pick something else? I have a lot of books that I want to choose from, but I guess I'll stick to the question. It was, what is our favorite thing that we've read since we last met? And I just want to say, this is a tough decision. I just really want to shout out I guess I'll shout out the Captain Planet and the Planeteers book.
Right.
Not because it's like exceptionally well written or amazing. Like, it's not bad. It's just I just want to shout it out because like I'm just so excited that it's here. I'm just so interested in the idea that Captain Planet was like, when did that come out? The 80s, 90s, the cartoon,
90s.
like early 90s. So,
Wow.
so Captain Planet is like anyone in a certain generation knows who Captain Planet is, right? But then he went away, and then now all of a sudden, 2025, he's got a comic book. And to my knowledge, this is the first comic book he's ever had, unless someone knows otherwise. I don't know. But so it just felt so random to see him on the stands. I'm like, okay, let me check this out. So I did read the first 3 issues; those are out now, and I feel like, yeah, I definitely want to recommend it to people because, you know, climate change is a huge issue, and like I think it should be on the forefront of our minds. But then there's so much other issues, so many social issues, you know, so many things that it doesn't always take, you know, primary focus. But I love that Captain Planet does put it right in the front and say, like, we gotta care about the planet. And it's like, and yeah, it's a little cheesy, yeah, it's a little stereotypical with the characters, like, and everybody has always made fun of, like, wind, water, hot, like all that stuff. Like, you got the 5 rings, but this story does some interesting things with the characters, like, in particular, like, with the power of heart, like, they kind of recontextualize it, like, they give it some edge. Like, it's not quite, you know, entirely the Saturday morning cartoon, but it also stays true to its roots. Like, you do get the silly villains like Duke Nukem and Mr. Plunder. I can't remember. I think they call him Lucian Plunder. So,
cool.
Like, it's definitely it's just an interesting thing. So I just wanted to shout out that book. Has anyone read that one yet?
I haven't yet, but that's on my list actually, because my wife and I saw the cover of it, and I was like, this cover is so sweet. And I showed it to my wife because my wife reads comics too, although she hasn't read in a little bit, so I'm gonna have to nag her about that. She needs to read more comics. But anyway, I actually was telling my wife that I would love to read this, and I'd like to see it done in like more of a I don't know, more of like, if Captain Planet was like a horror book, I think it would be a lot of potential in it. So I think that if like there's a lot, if there was like, if he was like sort of like the, I don't know, that's perhaps maybe like the like some sort of vengeful spirit, and the kids have to like work together in order to keep him locked away, I would find it to be really, really fascinating dilemma, a fascinating dimension. My wife and I were debating that because she was like, no, because the whole point of him was to talk about climate change. So like, if people like, you know, are afraid of him, what would, and I'm like, I think that's the point. I think if people were afraid of him,
there are elements of that. I will say, like,
yeah,
when you get to issue 3, it becomes clear how long Captain Planet has been around, like in the context of the story, and what his purpose is. And like, if you're on his bad side, he is plenty scary. Like, but if you're on his good side, you know, like, then we're gonna help the planet and we're gonna be happy together.
That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. So now you got me interested. Thank you.
And also, like, if you like vengeful environmentalists, did you check out that X-Men Green stuff that was happening in the Krakoa era? Because talk about a vengeful environmentalist.
Yeah.
You remember that, Regina? Like, we had what was her name? Lindley.
Nature Girl.
Nature Girl.
She went in a direction I would never have called years ago. I was like, what is going on?
It was dramatic character
really
change.
It was
She's
intense.
amazing. Actually, 2025, I was like, this is going to be my soft era. Like, I'm getting into my 40s. I need to just kind of slow down, stop being so angry. Oh no, me and my mom were on the same page. She's like stabbing people. I'm like, yes.
Right, boring people with the hammer. Wow.
And she was pissing off the X-Men. She was like, we're the X-Men now. And then like Professor X was like, oh Lord, what are the children doing these days? Like,
That's excellent. I love that.
The fact that they had to send Wolverine after her, I'm like, all right, this is
Really?
intense.
That's not overacting.
Right?
That's
I mean,
cool.
and I'm not going to say she was right, but I'm also not going to say she was wrong.
Right.
Like that's why
the
it was so
point.
cool when she was in the Era of Apocalypse book, because I'm like, you know, she had a good chance of becoming the Era of Apocalypse. I'm like, you know what? I kind of want her to have it, just to kind of
I
like.
actually think that would have been a good call.
Yeah, it would have been a good call. That's so sweet.
But yeah, here we are. So this was a great round. So next it's time for the speed round, guys. So very, very quickly, very, very briefly, you can share any other comic books, shout them out, any honorable mentions that you're reading, anything else you want to recommend to our audience. And let's start with Polly.
Okay, so most of you, like everyone who follows me on Threads knows that I've been reading through Moon Knight runs. And the current Moon Knight run by Charlie Huston is what I'm reading, and that one is instantly good. That's an instant recommendation from me. The previous one, I don't remember the writer, but like it's the second Moon Knight run. That one I don't recommend, but this one definitely. Then of course I'm reading One World Under Doom. Of course I'm reading like all the big events, but specifically I want to point out that Emma Frost, the White Queen, is coming out too. It's a miniseries, and I won't say that I love it, but I do enjoy it, and I do like that Emma is back in her villain days there, and like Hellfire Club days, all that. Kind of missed seeing her there. And another peak is I think it was out this week. Black Cat. The first issue is out, and it's also a pretty good book. Like, I don't know where it's gonna go yet, but it's fun. It's actually one of those great for escapism books. It's just genuinely fun.
Very cool.
Those are my picks. Yeah.
All right, Travelle, what about you? Any other reads on your list lately?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I'm kind of like sorting through and reading. I'm still trying to catch up on a lot of stuff, but I recently mentioned Mr. Terrific. I actually am really, really proud of that book. I personally know the artist, Val, Delandrio. Yeah, Delandrio. Yeah, he's really a great guy. So I'm really glad to see him like still working again. I've known him since the days of Bitch Planet. That's when I first met my boy, and he's really fantastic dude and a fantastic artist. So I think that's like up there. I think that's one of the best things out right now to pick up. But also,
agreed. I'm loving that title.
I think it's really fantastic. Also, a small plug. If anyone wants to read a little bit more about Mr. Terrific and concepts around how to think about him, I wrote a piece on my page about Mr. Terrific and stereotype threat and why I think that him just basically being the smartest black man in DC Universe automatically makes him the smartest man. So I wrote about that, and if anyone wants to check it out, I'll leave the link too.
Actually read it too.
Yeah, I read that one too. That was good.
I read that one.
And you wrote that before the movie, right? Before the Superman movie. So like you were ahead of the curve on this. But we definitely want to welcome people into the Mr. Terrific fandom. Now's the perfect time to hop on board.
Yeah, it's a great time. And then my last book that I would say recently that I've been reading a lot of DC stuff. I've been reading the Secret History of DC. That's been a lot of fun to read. I didn't expect to enjoy that so much. I just like to see how in what ways things get recontextualized and how things get how like a writer such as like Mark Waid, who's so skilled and so like he has like encyclopedic knowledge of like how DC canon has worked. Well, just comic book canon in general, because he's a great writer for Marvel too. But he's made little tiny alterations to like the history of DC that make sense and actually give credence and give kind of more accommodation to other characters that have been around for a long time, but just haven't really gotten the proper, I would say, like just due or proper like sort of credit for like how they actually influence the rest of the DC universe. Like for instance, I was reading something recently in which in the book he kind of like recontextualizes Cyborg to be a founding member of the Justice League, which is really important. It's very, very important. He gets, and like something happens with Cyborg, he gets sidelined for a second, and then Marshall Manhunter shows up and takes his place.
Interesting.
Which is fascinating.
Because I remember like Cyborg was on Justice League in the New 52, and then we had the rebirth and everything. Like DC gets a little all over the place, so I'll be interested. I haven't read that second issue yet, so I want to see about that.
Really interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how he does that, and then it's like, oh, but Martian Manhunter takes his place, so that which is the original cast of the Justice League when they first initially appeared, which is what Martian Manhunter was in the original setup. So it's really interesting to see how it's like, wait, well, actually, Cyborg was here. Black people were here first,
and something happened. But we do claim Martian Manhunter as black, though. I just want to say, like
we do Piccolo. It's true. No,
I'm a little annoyed that Absolute Martian Manhunter is not black, but I really do enjoy that book. But
yes,
but it's a little but. There's different versions, and
I haven't read it yet, but I know it's fantastic. I've been wanting to read it, but that's why I didn't read it, because he's not a black dude. I was like, let me get to this when I get to it, but because I think that there's something that needs to be said about Martian Manhunter actually choosing to be a black man. Right. I think there's a lot to be said about that. But but I'll get to it. But like I said, that's the other book that I've been reading. I really enjoy, and I've been reading other Wade stuff. I've been reading his Justice League Unlimited. That's been fun.
Yeah,
really fun.
I love that book.
And his World's Finest. World's Finest is still a lot of fun.
So you're stealing all of my books. I love it.
I'm sorry, man.
And I'm glad that you talk about it first, because then we're saying I don't have to talk about them. No, but ditto on that for sure. All right, Claude, what are some of the books on your list?
All right, so I didn't realize it had come out that the Umbrella Academy Plan B had started. So I got one, and then this week number 2 came out. Love it. I'm obviously a big Gerard Way fan. I'm wearing a My Chemical Romance shirt right now. It's good. It is still very much an Umbrella Academy book in that it'll probably be better once it's collected, because of just how scattershot the storytelling is. It's all really good and engaging, but it's just kind of tough to follow with how he sets things up. I picked up Justice League Red this week. That just came out. New team.
Yeah.
Simon Baz and Power Girl are the main 2 that get focused on in this original issue, and it's really good. It's a little quick for me. Like, they don't get a lot done in the first issue, but it is just setting things up. So I just kind of wish they had maybe filled out the roster, like started filling it up faster, since we already know who's going to be in it with like Deadman and Red Canary and things like that. But so it's good. It's a solid start, but it could have been better is where I am on that. And then the last one that I want to talk about is Imperial number 3.
Ooh, yes.
Really liking the writing and the art in this one. I feel like it's the same artist as the first 2, but it feels like it's really in a good place by issue 3. There were a little bit of wonkiness in some of the faces in the first 2 issues, and I didn't see any of that in the third, as far as I could tell.
Well, they also had new artists join. Like this third issue is 2 artists. You have Federico Vincentini, who hops on, and then you still have Ivan Coelho, I think is the other artist who did the first 2. So
I noticed something was different. I thought it was the same artist, so I was like, it's just evolving, but that makes sense if there was someone else contributing too. I think it's really good. Again, it focuses a lot on Nova, which is why I'm gonna like it. Writers, my boy. I'm really ready for the book for him that spins out of this. Sounds like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Also, Claude, did you notice that Marvel Unlimited just put a ton of Nova issues from the 1990s on Marvel Unlimited there?
I did not.
Yes.
I've been reading a bunch of DC lately, but let me hop back in.
I don't know if it's the whole series or just a few. It's definitely more than 10 issues, I think.
Nice. Yeah. So for the book that's going to spin out of this for Imperial, they actually set it up a lot in this issue, like why that book is going to happen. So really solid if you're looking forward to getting into that one when it comes out. I would say pick up Imperial number 3, and then it's just solid storytelling. A new faction has kind of entered the fray after all the other ones have been set up. They're like, but wait, there's another one that's kind of pulling some strings. So worth checking out if you like Galactic Marvel.
So everyone stay tuned, because if there's time at the end, we might dig into spoilers, maybe on Imperial, because I know a bunch of us also are reading that as well. But let's save those thoughts, and let's see what Regina is reading.
Well, Marvel Unlimited app, they just dropped a bunch of stuff from, like you said, the 90s, like so Nova and Night Thrasher. So I'm reading some of that stuff. Also getting caught up on the Marvel Unlimited app, Infinity Academy books, or Marvel Avengers Academy on the Marvel Voices Infinity comic. Anthony Oliveira is one of my favorite writers nowadays. I really feel like he's doing something unique and different with the characters that maybe you can't really do in a print book, but it's really fun to see them growing and developing. And it's just such a ragtag group of kids. And then they just keep like adding new kids.
Yeah.
So it's like, and he has a lot of themes about like, you know, changing and redemption and just a lot of really unique things that he's doing that I'm really enjoying. Also, I have never actually read a Vampirella comic until recently. But you know, she's a sexy woman. So,
Yeah.
Maybe it's my time to start following more sexy women. So I picked up Vampirella Armageddon issues 1 and 2. Really, really fun. Great. She starts out in a bar with her werewolf friend, and then things go sideways, and you're just like, whoa. And as always, they underestimate the injured woman, and then they regret it. So it was really fun to read and kind of escape, and still have these themes of, you know, protecting people.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I've never read Vampirella either, but now I might have to.
Yeah,
you know what? I completely underestimated her, just like everybody else. So I'm reading this book, and I'm just like, wait. So then I had to go down a rabbit hole, and now I'm like, okay, I've got like a stack of books this big to read.
So are you reading a new series or older series or everything that you can find?
I started out with the current, because they just dropped a new #1 recently, like I think, well, maybe last month, and then they just dropped issue 2, and I actually picked up issue 2 first because I was like, this cover art is amazing. I have to know what's inside the book. So I started reading it, and I was like, okay, now I got to go back and read issue 1. And then after that, I was like, okay, so then what else don't I know? I like know nothing about her. So then I'm starting to read, and I did not know she'd been around in publication for so long. Like I knew she was around when I was a kid, but I didn't know she was like way back. So I was like, wow. So I've got a lot of reading to do.
It's always fun to find a new rabbit hole to go down, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Indeed.
All right. Well, okay. So I guess it's my turn. I'm going to try to be as brief as I can. But yeah, I'll just say generally, I'm reading, you know, a lot of Marvel, a lot of DC, reading the Ultimate books and the Absolute books. A few things I want to shout out specifically. Let's see. Okay, so I did finish Chip Zdarsky's Batman run. And you know what? I don't hate it. Like, I think it's gotten mixed reviews. I thought it was pretty solid all the way through. Is it my favorite Batman run? I don't know. There's so many of them. But it's definitely a lot of fun. A lot of great art. Like Jorge Jimenez has been a great main artist, and he does come back for the last issue. Chip Zdarsky definitely pays a lot of homage to Grant Morrison. So, in some ways, but Chip does his own thing as well. But it definitely felt like Grant Morrison's run a bit, because Tony Daniel also came back for a bit of the art on the last 2 issues. So, long story short, if you were hesitant to read Chip Zdarsky's Batman run, I would recommend it. Or if you just want to start fresh, Matt Fraction is going to have a new one coming up soon with Jorge Jimenez. And
an interesting choice.
Yeah,
Matt
buddies,
Fraction,
the two
an
friends.
interesting choice for
and
makes sense because they're like best friends too. They're like one of the, you know.
Chip
so
Zdarsky is definitely like a friendly guy. I started finding his Zdarsky News comics at my shop. You've got one there, yeah.
They're so funny.
Yeah, I got the most recent 2, and then like the new one is called Ryan Stagg Men's Health, because like he said, let's get Chip out of the picture. This is my book now. And they just like have a lot of playfulness, and they talk to other creatives in the field, and I definitely recommend that if you can get your hands on it. It's free.
Connection between Fraction and Zdarsky, because they wrote. Was it Fraction with him on Sex Criminals?
Yeah,
that sounds right.
Chip,
so it's funny that he's passing the baton to like his buddy.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. That all right, we could just compare notes. They probably already debated Batman in so many different ways, so they probably were like, I can write Batman.
I was going to say Fraction's like, let me show you how it's done.
I just think it's so funny that this is like Jorge Jimenez's like 3rd run on Batman. I think he did one with James Tynion or or
Oh,
Tinian. How do you say his name?
Yeah, Tinian.
I think
Tinian?
Tinian.
It's like tiny.
Tiny Onion.
Because-
Tinian. Okay, Tinian. Anyway, so he did that run, and then he did the chip one, and now he's going to do the Matt Fraction one. So I do feel like I'm always interested to see if he changes up his art style at all, or if he's going to, like, you know, just keep it consistent. Either way, I love his art, so I'm not going to be disappointed. But yeah, let me also mention a few other things real quick. On the topic of Batman, Absolute Batman number 10 was the last one I read of that. That book is crazy, y'all. Like, I don't it's a little edgelordy for me at times, but it's entertaining. It's interesting. Like, so I definitely recommend all the Absolute books. I'm also reading them all, like Flash, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Absolute Green Lanterns, of course Superman. Superman is my favorite, actually. I got the trade that just came out of that because I'm like, wow, I really love this series.
It's magnificent. Yeah, it is. It really, really is. And I really like the Green Lantern. The Green Lantern I didn't get a chance to mention. I love that book so far. It's great.
It's interesting. I'm not a huge Green Lantern fan, so so I'm just on board to see where it goes. But
I feel like for me, Green Lantern, Absolute Green Lantern is like Al Ewing just found out about anime.
yeah, there's an anime vibe for sure.
So much.
That's
like,
really
like, oh,
funny.
this stuff rocks. That's what it feels like.
That's really funny. I like Albin Sur being so scary. I think that's super cool.
I'm curious to see what's behind that. Like, is he as scary as he seems, or is it like what is the Green Lanterns in this universe?
Right.
Like, we don't really know yet. But But speaking of Green Lanterns, I did want to go back to Justice League Red. I read that one, Claude, and I gotta say, I think that's definitely something people should check out because, like you said, it's kind of starting out slow. You only have 2 out of the, or 3 out of the main 6 that you were expecting right now, but I'm sure they'll bring them in soon. But it seems culturally significant. Like, you have this book here that's written by a Muslim writer, Saladin Ahmed, and then the first superhero you see in it is a Muslim superhero, Simon Baz, the Green Lantern, who I feel is probably like the Green Lantern who gets the least amount of attention. Like there's so many Green Lanterns, and so I guess it can be hard to, feature them all. But like, I'm excited to see that he's getting a turn to kind of do his thing, and like so you got Simon Baz, you got Power Girl, you got Red Tornado. I'm someone who read a lot of the Young Justice in the 90s, early 2000s, and like Red Tornado back then is different than Red Tornado now, and it makes me sad. I'm like, oh, what happened to his family? Like, what happened to his humanity? But it's interesting, and I think there's a lot there that is topical, so I recommend that. So many things. Okay, so let me see if that covers all the DC stuff. World's Finest. I did want to piggyback off of you, Travelle, and say, like, I've been catching up on that book. I really do enjoy that book. Mark Waid and Dan Moore and them.
Dan Moore is a genius.
He really is like one of the top of this era right now, I think.
Yeah, he is. He really is. It's really like, so I haven't looked at someone's art that made me feel so like young and like held. It's like his art makes me feel like I'm being held by like, by like a pillow. I don't know. It's like it's so like charming and like endearing and
it has character and feeling.
It's so
style.
Pretty.
I was freaking out. There's a piece of art in one of the TTRPGs. It's a Mutants and Masterminds superhero game, and I was looking and I was like, this art style looks really familiar. So I looked at the signature on it. It's a Dan Mora.
He's everywhere. Like, Mark Waid is praised like how quickly he makes art. Like, he's like, for someone who's so good at what he does, he also does it extremely quickly. He's on several books at the same time. It's unbelievable. Like, he's making like I'm sure the other artists hate him. They're like, stop making us look bad.
No, he's incredible. He's incredible. I mean, I think that like he's about to be the industry standard soon, like Jim Lee was in the 90s. Like, everyone has to kind of like fall after that type of art. It's going to be like that for Dan Mora soon. Dan Mora's art is so gorgeous. People are going to want to see similar types of art.
Yeah, I think he's going to become like the house style for.
We're already seeing elements of that because like the few fill-in artists who have been on World's Finest, they definitely try to capture his vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I think that's it for DC for me. I want to mention a few Marvel things real quick. Of course, I'm keeping up with the X-Men. Giant Size X-Men just finished up. Polly, I know you're reading that. Is anyone else reading that?
Yeah.
Okay, Regina's reading that. So, yeah, this is, I don't know why it's a divisive book. I like it. I mean, I guess I know why. People, I guess you got Ms. Marvel fans who don't like her being a mutant. Or I guess you have people who just don't like Ms. Marvel as well in the mix. But I like Ms. Marvel and I like mutants, so that's why I like this book.
Wow.
And plus, can I just say, I'm just gonna say, fuck the Inhumans. I hate them. They're slave owners.
Yeah.
Like they are eugenicists. Like I'm not
yeah,
into
eugenicists.
them.
Yeah,
like she can like forget about them.
Nobody likes the Inhumans. That's kind of.
I mean, that's fair.
Like all my homies hate the Inhumans.
That's fair.
I'm
but
sorry.
But I do say this though. I do think it's important to actually highlight who the Inhumans are in regards to like how that ties into current politics around eugenics, because people are treating eugenics like it's a new thing now. It's
And like it's a
very,
fad.
very old. Yeah,
It's
like
terrible.
It's a fad. It's very, very old. Like people don't know that like, you know, like Nazis actually studied America's playbook on like how they were actually treating black people, treating enslaved people, and was like, yeah, we'll use some of these techniques on the people here, on the Jewish people here. It's like this is such an old concept that's being reintroduced under the new current era of Trump. So I just think that those characters being around to kind of represent that, and like how you can actually kind of create something great like Kamala out of it. I think that says a lot. So, but I do agree with you. There's a lot of bones to pick with the Inhumans, though. There is.
I like some of the new humans, as they called them, the second wave one, but the Inhumans, like the royal family, definitely is like no.
Like there have been a few good stories here and there with them, but
I see why
I just don't know how they got to where they are. Like I don't think they started out that way. I think they've been written. Like I think the way that they were basically treating the, what do you call them, the subhuman ones,
The alpha primitives.
yeah, the alpha primitives. Like I feel like that was added on later. I don't know. I don't want to get into it too much.
Yeah,
But I guess
I mean, in
you
the
know.
beginning, they were just this family, and we didn't really know anything about.
Yeah, they were
them.
outsiders. You know?
Yeah.
And, like I can relate to the outsider element of it, and like it's just so funny to me because you know the X-Men in the Krakoa era got all this heat and smoke for being this closed society.
Yeah.
The people were calling them eugenicists because well, I guess we don't like that Mr. Sinister was on the council, but like that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah,
but the point is, the X-Men aren't half as bad as the Inhumans.
No.
And now the X-Men don't even have their own homeland, so or I guess the Inhumans don't either. But we'll talk more about that if we get back to Imperial. Okay, so let's put a pin in that. But yeah, Giant Size X-Men has also had these backup stories that I recommend because they're giving us interesting sneak peek of what might be to come in the X line. Storm, I gotta talk about Storm real quick, just because, like we said, it's definitely I have criticisms. Like I do feel the story is kind of hard to nail down. Like what are the themes? Like where are we going with this? A lot happening, but I do really love that she has her own solo book. Like how she's very rarely had a solo book in history.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love that she has that, and that you've got a writer from Africa, Murewa Ayodele. Like he is bringing his culture to the book. He's bringing just a lot of enthusiasm to it, and the art I think is pretty amazing. I'm not as big a fan of the fill-in artist, but Lucas Wernick, I'll read anything he does because I love his art. And I'm also trying to catch up on Immortal Thor. I have a long way to go. I'm on like number 7 because they've already canceled that book, and now he has a new book. But I'll get there one day.
I was gonna say Marvel
That is
relaunching with a number 1. What a twist!
So, yeah, I think that's about it for me. I do want to mention real quick, Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob. I did finally get to read that. That was so weird. Like, I guess, I was like, I don't know why I didn't expect what I got. Did you read it also, Regina?
I read some of it, and I was like, what? What's happening here?
Like, if you're at all familiar with Jay and Silent Bob, then you kind of might have an idea of what you're getting into. But just know that they do not tone it down because it's Archie
Not at
kind
all.
of not at all. Like,
It's
they
like
dropping
100%
F-bombs. They are talking about
my
sex.
God.
Like, it is. They know that they're being like, off the wall with it. So it was just kind
That's
of
great.
wild to me.
Archie's also crossing over with Minor Threats right now.
Yes.
So,
I haven't read that
yeah,
yet.
so
How was
I picked
that?
up that one. It was good. They're playing with like, oh, look at the happy world of almost said Archie, and then Minor Threats. So like literally the art shifts between when they're cutting back and forth, and then they're putting them together by the end of it. So it's pretty fun. I really love the world of Minor Threats. So anything that gives me more of that, I'm good with. And I was like, well, let's check it out because I did not know that book was happening until last week. It was just on the shelf, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, see, I know nothing about Minor Threats, but I am a big Archie fan. Like, I reviewed season 7 of Riverdale, and now there was new news this week that they have an Archie movie in development written by Tom King.
Really?
I'm like,
I was
what is
literally
this?
just thinking about.
It's going to be a live action movie.
What?
I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'm like, well, like I'm still getting over Riverdale. Like, I love that show. Like, I know everyone hated it, but I didn't. Like, and then
it had a few good seasons.
and then
Like one.
like, and then I think there was also another Archie thing in development by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who do the Into the Spider-Verse things. I don't know if this is a separate project or the same project. I don't know. I've just been hearing a lot about Archie in the news recently, so just wanted to mention that.
That's really interesting.
All right. Well,
Before we move on, really quick, you brought up Tom King. I wanted to ask the crowd, what do you guys think about the whole Mr. Miracle animated series coming up? It's like a limited animated series. That's actually, personally, for me, Mr. Miracle is one of the most important books I've read in my adult life because it has so much. First and foremost, is Jack Kirby. It's an homage to Jack Kirby completely, and Jack Kirby's like a personal love of mine, personal hero of mine. But beyond that, I think that his relation, well, Mr. Miracle's relationship, especially with Big Brother and their relationship growing up, and him being adopted, and the whole situation, it's really always resonated with me. But him having a kid was a whole new element for me. So it was like really, really important, and I actually keep it by my bedside. I had it with me the day my daughter was born. I was reading it in the delivery room. It's like one of my most endeared books. So I'm curious, what does everyone think about it coming out as a limited series, as an animated series?
all right, in 2 sentences or less, go.
Yeah, sorry.
Excited about it. I still need to read the comic run because I haven't, but I do love that relationship. So, yeah.
Tight.
Polly.
I'm not ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. Okay.
Regina.
I haven't read it.
I'm gonna
I
give
didn't
it
know,
Well, I gotta say,
I've got new stuff to read.
yeah, I gotta say, it is also one of my favorite Tom King things. Like, I'm not, like I have mixed feelings about Tom King's work, but it's one of my favorite things that I've read by him. And so I am excited for it. I also want to plug, now we're kind of starting a DMVCBN TV movie club. So I definitely, if anyone wants to come join me, everyone here is welcome to join me, or even new people, like just send me a DM, send me a comment, let me know, because a lot of this is still in development. I'm not sure if we're going to do it next weekend or 2 weeks or sometime soon, so just keep that on your radar, everyone, because there's lots of cool TV and movie stuff to talk about.
Nice.
But, yeah, we're coming to the end of our time, but if anyone wants to go into some overtime, we did have one more topic that we wanted to discuss, which was spoilers. Like, if anyone had any major spoilers that they wanted to discuss in the comic book world. Oh, also we were going to talk about things we were looking forward to. So 2 things, but
Okay.
So what were you going to say, Travelle?
I was simply going to say, if I could, I'm going to have to break out because I do not want to have any spoilers yet because I'm actually still trying to catch up on some stuff.
I feel you, yeah.
Stuff that I could simply say that I'm like happy about coming out. There's a couple of things that I'm like all over the place that I'm like excited about. I was just telling my wife that I'm excited about how TMNT Turtles Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is back in the movie theaters. They actually extended the run for it to be back in the movie theaters.
Is it still playing?
It is still playing.
I might have to check it out.
The 28th. I think it's still to the 28th, I think, but I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like I saw a lot of fans like having a great time.
Yeah.
I might have to check that out.
It's like I think that'd be pretty cool to do. But I'm excited about that, and then I'm excited about just like I think I just brought up Tom King's Mr. Miracle that's coming out soon. That's going to be, and I think the next season of My Adventures with Superman is coming out soon too. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. I actually didn't expect to like that show so much, and here I am.
Well, you definitely need to join us on the TV movie club sometime, so we can dig more into these things here.
Indeed, and I'm excited about the Ultimates book, the big Ultimates book coming out. So I got to say that too.
I enjoy that one a lot too. All right, Claude, any books you're looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward to the DC KO event because who doesn't love a good tournament arc? I feel like that's just going to be fun. I really like what DC's been doing lately as a whole. And then on the Marvel side, looking forward to the Nova book that comes out of Imperial.
Awesome. Polly, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to the resolution of every story.
Right?
Definitely to the Ultimate Sun game, and definitely looking forward to Age of Revelation and more stuff about that.
Awesome. Regina, what about you?
I'm also psyched about Age of Revelation. Doug Ramsey was never one of my favorite characters, but like they've been moving and shaking with him. Like, who would have ever thought after he died that he would become like this sort of really creepy, scary character?
Yeah. Like I love that they're picking up on that thread from Krakoa.
Right. And I was a big fan of his relationship with Bay, and I've had some people say, well, but they didn't really do anything. I don't care.
They did enough.
She's like this giant goddess, like with this little tiny boy.
And they probably weren't reading the Unlimited books where they had like a whole extended storyline. Like I know you were reading them, and I was reading them. So they need to go read that.
Right. And I'm just like, you know what? Just let me have this. I love Bay. Her name is amazing. Bay the Blood Moon.
Right?
Like, come on.
It flows off the tongue. It's very poetic.
Right.
And plus their whole like connection, how he couldn't even like understand what she was saying, but they still had a love connection.
Right. And
So
for
cool.
somebody whose power is what it is, that that's kind of like, okay, well, how do I communicate with this person? And I've never had a communication block like this ever before. So that kind of elevates her in a way that maybe other people don't.
And then, mild spoiler, they're kind of like, they've kind of like in a new stage of their relationship now, if you're reading the newer books.
Yeah, definitely.
So, awesome stuff. I will say I am looking forward to Mr. Terrific, which is coming out next week. Runaways is coming out next week. I know Claude and I have been reading that. Imperial War, Black Panther is coming out next week. I'm going to check that out. Justice League. I got to catch up with that stuff. Superman, Avengers. Lots of good stuff. Eventually, this Marvel DC stuff, like the crossover is going to come out. I think that's September. Or is it November? Or is it October? I don't know.
I think it's
October.
I don't know, but it's exciting.
It's on our radar, so we gotta keep our eyes open because I'm sure once it comes out, like everyone's gonna be grabbing them for their issue, and then you gotta get to your
Laura
shot.
Kinney, Dick Grayson team up.
Right? Like so many things we didn't ever expect. So should be interesting.
I'm actually really curious about like a lot of those matches up. Who's with Gambit? Is it Gambit and Nightwing?
Maybe that sounds.
I think it's
interesting.
Gambit and Nightwing. I think it is. It's funny that that's the case because I actually remember reading in the Wizard comic books years in the 1900s, back in the 1900s.
I remember those books.
Yeah, remember those books? Yeah, and the Wizard comic books, they would do these imaginary verses, like which character would beat which character. And I remember reading one with Nightwing versus Gambit. I remember that years ago, and I remember Nightwing ends up winning. And then at the end of the match, I remember someone wrote in that he like picks up Gambit's cards and tries to figure out how they work and tries to figure out how to turn them on. And I always thought that was like such an interesting like little tit for tat, like a little nuance around like how Dick Grayson's mind would work. It'd be like he's always like investigating to be like, how does this work? After he just beats somebody, he's like, still, but how does this work? I think that is really exciting. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen between those two characters in the crossover. It's very, very cool.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that concludes our comic book past talk. We're about to get into spoilers. So if anyone needs to hop off, thank you for being here.
Yeah,
I can't be on for much longer, but
okay.
The one spoiler, I'm like, I do want to stay for that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can't be on it. Like, I gotta actually get to the baby as well. So, it was excellent hanging out with everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I would love to come back. I guess next month if we're doing.
Yeah, you're always welcome. Thanks for coming, Travelle, and definitely, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, it's so nice meeting you, Polly, and Regina. It's so freaking nice meeting you both.
Too.
I'm such big fans of your work on Threads. I love following the both of you. It always makes me feel better about the world. So please keep it up. And thank you, truly. Thank you. And Claude, my man, you are a godsend, and I'm really, really grateful to know you. So it's like really nice to be able to connect with you again. And Freddy, you are my brother, and I appreciate you. And it's always great to like talk to you, and you make me feel better about the world as well. So
likewise, man.
Great.
Yes, follow everyone who's listening. Follow all these people on social media, and let's get to know each other, and let's make this an even bigger conversation. Like, I am starting to find, I'm wondering what are the limits. Like, how many people is too many people? I don't know. We haven't gotten there yet, so we'll see. But yeah, thanks for coming, Travelle. Have a great month, and we'll be in touch.
Cool. Later.
All right, so I guess I'll let you go first, Claude. Do you have any spoiler in particular you want to mention?
Just the big Imperial spoiler, which is that the Inhumans are in the mix now.
Yes.
That's the secret faction that is being thrown in at the end. So I'm interested to see what they do with them. I think the name of the series makes a lot of sense because the Inhumans are kind of imperialists, and if they're going to lean on that's what they're named after, like what the series is for, then that makes sense. So I wonder where they'll be at the end of this, because they have been off the map entirely for a while now.
I feel like I remember them popping up somewhere and like mentioning this thing with Empire, but I can't be sure. I think they've been like 30 years ago in a Fantastic Four run, for all I know. But it's really interesting for sure to see them pop up. And I was thinking, like, when I was reading Imperial, I was thinking specifically about like how I want to see the repercussions for Nova after he put on his helmet.
That was a big moment. Regina, did you also read this issue?
You mentioned, I didn't actually know that there's gonna be a Nova book. So
that Nova book is him trying to keep enough funding to keep the world
right.
So it's just Heroes for Hire.
That's relatable.
I was like, I was 99% sure that Star-Lord is not gonna come through. Like, everything's gonna fall apart. He's like, I'm probably gonna be able to cover it. And I'm like, no, he doesn't.
See, but I gotta say, when I was reading Imperial 3, one of my first thoughts was like, I just really feel that the Star-Lord in the comics is not the same as the Star-Lord in the movies. And they keep trying to, like, merge the two, but, like, I know what the differences are.
I think what they should do is just let Star-Lord and Nova kiss. That's all they do.
I'm down for it.
Now they have all this thing between them, with the money and stuff.
Yeah.
It's gonna be complicated.
Like, where's Gamora's not even in the picture in this book right now.
She's not. That is interesting.
So you got that stuff. I just wanted to say with Imperial, like, it was definitely, I enjoyed this issue. Okay, so these are oversized issues, right? They're like 40 pages.
They're pretty big, yeah.
So it's like, and Hickman has a lot of room to make these scenes breathe. But yet he does not have enough room to balance the entire cast. Because yes, it is like space. Like, space is vast. But so the first issue you had like Hulks and stuff, and then this issue, in the second issue you kind of get into Wakanda a little bit, which that's when it kind of picked up for me, because I love Wakanda and the intergalactic empire of Wakanda and anything that calls back to that. But this issue kind of, like you said, went more into the Inhumans, which is interesting. So I wonder if each issue will have that different focus, or will it kind of come back together?
Yeah, I think that's why books are spinning out of this, is because he can't manage the cast in one book.
And he's gonna quit
makes sense.
halfway too.
Yeah. How long is Imperial supposed to go? I thought it was only supposed to be like a 6 or something.
That's what I was thinking. I'm not sure. That would make sense for it to have like 6 main issues and then a whole bunch of tie-ins. Maybe not too many tie-ins, but like a fair amount.
Yeah.
We shall see. I just I wanted to say that when I was reading Imperial 3, I really liked how Hickman, when he was in the scene with Grandmaster and Maximus the Mad, he was just talking about writing. Like, I feel like you would love that. I think, was that a favorite scene of yours, Claude? Because it also kind of sounded like, being a TTRPG game master. Like, I loved just the way he described, like,
Yeah, like you work your way backwards from the solution.
From the end goal of your story,
it was really cool. Yeah, I thought that was really well written. I just looked it up, though, and it's supposed to just be 4 issues.
Oh, interesting. We're already at 3.
Yeah. And the next one's not till October. So all the spin-offs are going to happen in between.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
But makes sense, because it's kind of a resolution.
Yeah. So it'll end it off.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts about Imperial?
Nope, that's
it. All right, I want to toss it to Regina. Do you have any spoilers you want to discuss?
I just want to briefly cover what I didn't mention earlier with Psylocke is, if you didn't already read that issue, Grey Crow is robbing a bank.
Yes,
I just found that to be hilarious. It's like he never set out to be a hero. Let's make that clear.
Right.
That was never his thing. But he does feel this sense of responsibility and accountability for the things he's done before. So it was just funny that in the middle of all this drama that's going on with Cannon, he's robbing a bank and he's like, I gotta go. I gotta go do this thing for this girl,
Oh, yeah.
So that was really funny. And then with Giant Size X-Men, I'm not a hater of the book per se, but I have a lot of mixed feelings about it, I guess. Like, I love Kamala. I love her character. And I just feel like they are shoehorning too hard.
There's a lot of that. Yes. I'll admit it. Yeah. It's definitely, they lay on thick. Like, Jean Grey's like, you really are a Marvel girl. And I'm like, well, I'll take it, because she's like passing the baton. I like that. It's like, I kind of like cheesy stuff like that sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
It kind of feels like it's what do they call them? My brain suddenly forgot the word. It's a fanfic. And you'd think that like Kamala is the perfect character to be in this story, but it still feels like a fanfic that is written as a fanfic.
She's a Mary Sue self-insert kind of like main character. Right. I get it.
Everywhere. Right.
I'll acknowledge it.
It sit right with me.
Yeah, like it's
even though it has moments.
Yes, it does. It does have moments, and that's why I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to get over this. Like,
I'm gonna let it exist.
Yeah, like I think there's always kind of resistance to teenage sidekick kind of characters, as especially girls. I hate to say it, because like I just think back to how people talk about Jubilee in the X-Men the animated series, or how people talk about Kitty Pryde back when she was the teen sidekick. Like, I feel like X-Men have always had a lot of, teen girl sidekicks, so I kind of love that tradition, and I feel like...
I mean, they did have the New Mutants, and nobody hates them.
I don't know. They hate their movie.
Just the movie, but otherwise pretty beloved. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like the Outliers, they're coming in kind of as a group of kids. So
I hate them. No, I don't hate them, but I am annoyed by them.
I was resistant to the Outliers when they first popped up. I was like, but they've grown on me.
The thing about what is his name, Death Dream? He shows up in the Psylocke book, and I was like, that is a really neat way to have somebody with his specific powers involved in this story. And then Rogue showed up, and I was like, why? Why? Okay, Rogue is one of my favorite characters, but I'm like, you're doing way too much. I just need you to not be in this.
Was she being a hover mom? Like, was she like
to step back?
She's like, stay away from my kids. And
of course.
Like, oh, go back home.
I'm living for the Rogue impression now. Amazing.
And like I really also like the Grey Crow canon relationship that you mentioned before because yeah, I think it's just so interesting to see them both really get to have main character energy. Like we haven't seen that much at all in years past. So like there was a little bit in the most recent issue of X-Men that came out this week. It was a scene between Canon and ID
Oh,
Temper,
yeah.
and like I don't know if it passed the Bechdel test because they were all talking about boys and their boyfriends and Cyclops and them, but it was interesting because we don't see Canon get to talk about that stuff and have quiet moments where she's like, yeah, Grey Crow, all that matters is that he's nice to me. Like he might be evil, like he might not evil, but he might be robbing banks, but he's nice to me, and that's all that matters.
Right.
I love that moment.
That
Grey
is
Crow really
hilarious.
grew on me with Hellions, so I'm like, now I want to go check out
Right.
Psylocke for more
Yeah.
of him.
Yeah.
Like it's wild how much he's redeemed himself because for people who don't know, he was originally one of the real Marauders. Like not like the Marauder's name has changed over time, but like he was one of the ones who were killing other mutants in the Morlock tunnels.
And he had a much more questionable name then.
Right,
you know?
right. So like, so he started from the bottom. Now he's here. That's all I can say.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Any other spoilers you guys want to discuss real quick?
No, I could say the Power Fantasy one, but I still don't want to give it. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead, Polly.
Yeah, don't because we're still
Well,
catching
I
up.
was gonna mention the ultimate Black Panther. So
Ooh.
yeah, the whole thing is that we finally know who the traitor is.
Yeah, I think I know who the traitor is. I'm not sure. I'm like 2 issues behind. There was a reveal, but then I'm also like, is there
I'm
more to
pretty sure
it?
you called it. I think you called it the last
It was pretty
time.
obvious, yeah.
Yeah, but well, now we know. So yeah, there's that.
Okay, yeah, like yeah, it was so weird because I'm like, they have like Ultimate Black Panther. I have a weird relationship with. Like, I love Black Panther. I feel like I want a mainstream Black Panther book. Like, I do not like. I'm okay with the Ultimate book, but why is the Ultimate book getting more issues than the mainstream book? Like we're about to get an Imperial Black Panther tie-in, but they need to give him
But
his own
that's
book
a
again.
different thing.
I guess.
And then Storm, like.
Mhm. But you got Black Panther, you got Ultimate Storm,
Just saying.
Killmonger. A lot going on.
seriously.
Lots of twists and turns there,
Well,
for sure.
I gotta say, I do like that in Ultimate Black Panther, we do get a wildly different version of Storm.
Yes.
But I also feel like I love it because she's so unencumbered by all of her history in the 616. So she gets to kind of be this completely new character for herself. And she's like, she doesn't have necessarily the code that she has. So she's just like, yeah, this is me and you, and you have no power here except for what I give you. I'm like, okay, girl.
All right. Let's say goodbye to Claude. He's got to run,
Yeah,
but
go on,
thanks for
take off.
joining us, man.
Yeah, good meeting you, Regina, and of course, as always, good to see you, Polly and Freddie.
Good to
Y'all
see
take
you.
care.
All right.
All right, you too, man.
Bye.
Yeah, I do enjoy just finding out about, what is the new take on the characters. Polly and I both talked before how we enjoy Black Panther and Storm as a couple, so it's like interesting to see, how we're getting some of that. I guess we're talking spoilers. Can I just say, okay, so Black Panther in this book was married to a Koye, which I always thought was weird from the start. I'm like, why is she his wife out of all the, like, they could have put Nakia in that role. But anyway, but of course she was the traitor, so then she's kissing another man, she's kissing Killmonger, and it's a lot of drama.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
A lot of drama.
Yes, that's what I love about, because I was never a fan of Storm and Black Panther in the mainline universe being together, but in an alternate universe, I love it way more.
Mhm.
And I love the intrigue behind kind of what everybody's doing and how different that they are. And I feel like I'm able to enjoy it way better. Because in the 616, I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like Storm should be with a mutant. I just feel that way. And it's
I know you're a big Wolverine Storm
and
shipper.
it's probably Wolverine, but I love Craig. I loved her with Craig of NASA,
That's gonna
and I'm
be a
glad
conflict.
that got dropped.
I like Craig too.
Yeah, how about Craig? How's she doing?
And I like that Craig gave
Every
her,
time.
right. I just liked how he gave her space to just be who she was without any strings and without any expectations. And she could be afraid around him. She could be vulnerable. And I just feel like when she's Black Panther, she doesn't get to be like that per se. And they have this sort of royal trope that they have to kind of fall into no matter what.
That's true.
But then in the Ultimate Universe, she's just like, let's get down. Come on, right now. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like she's definitely more of a free agent, which is kind of like what she needs to be when she's not with T'Challa, but I mean, but isn't that the compromise of being in a relationship where you gotta like there's give and take, but at the same time, it's tough because like they're both strong characters, so it's like when you put them together as like a power couple, like Storm definitely has to sacrifice a lot. Like she's not able to kind of because they're in different countries at the time,
Right.
but I do remember fondly a lot of the things when they were together. Like I liked when they were on the Fantastic Four and when they were that whole time when they were getting married. Like that was a fun time. But I the great thing about comics is you get beginnings and endings, and then you get the cycle again and over and different interpretations. So yeah, it's fun. Any other spoilers we want to get into while we're here?
I think so.
All right, well, thank you, ladies, so much for being here. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Polly and Regina. It's been so much fun to get to speak with you directly. Like, I've been a long-time listener of the House of X podcast, so it's amazing. Like, thank you so much for joining us today. You're welcome anytime.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. It really does.
Yeah, like if anyone has not listened to the House of X podcast, go check them out. It's her and Dylan. They're both like great hosts. They have fun takes on the whole Krakoa era. So you have a whole library of years you could go back and listen to if you haven't listened to them before. But they also have some new stuff too, and like you said, you're also doing the X-Men, To Me My X-Men podcast. So,
Right.
So when that new season comes out, check them out. We might be talking about it over here too. Can I just say, Bo DeMeo was in the news again recently? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that, really.
I mean, I have a lot of feelings, and I know some things that I probably shouldn't know.
Right?
And like I support how hard it must be for him as a queer Black man in that environment. Like I understand there is a lot of pressure and you got to balance a lot of different things, but there's other things that maybe happened that were not okay.
Yeah.
That you perpetuated, and it's like, come on, bro, you know what the deal is. And also, sometimes you do have to create an environment for yourself where you can work together with people. And if they're not actively working against you, why are you making things hard for them?
Yeah, like we talked a lot about it last year, and it got to a point where I was just over it and I didn't want to hear from him anymore. But it's but like you said, there's two sides to this story, and and I definitely have sympathy for him, as a queer Black man myself.
Right.
So I definitely I'm not trying to cancel him, but at the same time, bruh, like, what are you talking about sometimes? Like,
Down.
so yeah,
like, come on, Bo.
yeah.
But I really hope that the new season shapes up as well as the first season. I do think that he did some really great work on the first season, and I'm sorry he wasn't able to continue it.
Do you know when the next season's coming out?
It's going to be in 2026, but I don't know exactly when. I feel like it might be around the spring, but I'm not sure.
Because I wasn't sure either. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Well, we have that to look forward to, if nothing else. Like let's hope it's good. Let's hope it's it maintains the same standard or even better. Who knows?
And I think that the storylines that are going to be that they're going to be going through are challenging, especially for people who maybe are not comics readers. So I'm wondering how that's going to translate to the on-screen version. And there are things that they're obviously going to have to change. So I'm just like, okay, how's this all going to work?
Yeah. Well, we live in interesting times. It's always, but at least for X-Men, we always know that there's going to be something new X-Men related.
Definitely.
All right, ladies. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you again for coming on. I want to give a quick thanks to everyone who's listened thus far. If you've enjoyed this comic book club, please give us a like and a subscribe and tell your friends about us. You know, and if you're interested to leave a comment or join the discussion, let us know. I'm always excited to hear feedback, and especially if it's positive or constructive, that's the feedback I like the best. Leave your negativity elsewhere. But yeah, it's been a great time talking with you all today, and like I said, keep your eyes peeled for our DMVCBN TV movie club that's coming up soon, and then we'll do another comic one next month. If we're still here. If Trump hasn't nuked us away. We'll see. All right. Thanks, everybody. Excelsior. Bye-bye.